Welcome back to my channel. I'm Traben, and starting tomorrow, I'm going to be taking part in the 24-hour reading challenge. Now, I've seen this challenge done a couple of different ways. I've seen one YouTuber that started a timer every time they read and just kept that timer going until it hit 24 hours. And then I saw another one that was like, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm going to go until 4 o'clock the next day and just see how much I can read in a single day. That's the style of 24-hour challenge I'm going to be doing. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, Sunday, and I'm going to just read for a 24-hour period and see what I can get through. I've recently acquired a lot of new manga. I've got the rest of Witch Hat Atelier that's been released, everything that's been released for the Offshoot series, the cooking series. I have another volume of Chainsaw Man, a couple of volumes of Akane-Banashi, the newest One Piece, another Beastars, the last few of the Blue Lock books, a couple of Ultraman, and a few of the Rat Queens volumes that I haven't gotten to. And I'm still trying to read for the Epic Series Summer that I'm doing. So currently my major read, my big read, is Dresden Files book. I'm currently on Proven Guilty. We'll see if that's where I'm at by tomorrow. I just plan on waking up and reading the whole day and seeing how much I can get through. That is my goal, and we'll see how it goes. It's 8:35. I've given some thought on how to go about doing the 24-hour challenge. I'm going to start with Ultraman, and I'm going to reread 17. And I've got 18 and 19. Because Ultraman is not very dense when it comes to like the text. So I figure it'll read quickly, give us a good start. I'm going to start my timer for 24 hours, and then I'm going to leave the phone in here. So, alright. I'll be back once I've finished up with the Ultraman comics. It took about an hour to read through the 3 volumes of Ultraman that I said I would get through, and generally I liked it. I think that my bias toward Ultraman plays a part in it, but I ended up giving all 3 of the volumes 4 stars because they're reimagining of Ultraman and the Ultraman character. My issue with it is that the plot is very convoluted. So you have like double agents, and you have these fake out moments where a character appears as though they've betrayed everyone else, and it turns out that it's like this person's brother that looks exactly like him, and it's just a lot of moments like that are there to try to fake you out. You also have to keep in mind all these different plots that they've got going with like all the different characters. There's so many Ultraman in this comic, and so yeah, that kind of convoluted nature of it is a little bit difficult to read at times, but still fun because it's an Ultraman comic. I think next what I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can get the audiobook for Proven Guilty and pick that up for a little bit while I just as I'm like waking up, and I got to get some dishes done, so I wanted to find an audiobook to listen to. If I can't find Proven Guilty, I already have the second Prospero War book on audiobook, so I'll listen to that instead. And then after that, I will tackle Witch Hat, I think. So, we'll see how far I can get through Proven Guilty or the second Prospero War while I'm getting some work done around the house, and then we'll get Witch Hat done next. We are at about 20 hours. So we've about 4 hours into the challenge. I picked up the Proven Guilty audiobook just so I had something to read while I was getting some work done around the house. Got some dishes done, got the filter in our AC replaced, and then went down to the store all while listening to the audiobook. I'm on chapter 26 now, which is on page 268 of the book. It's about a little over 500 pages, 550. So we are about halfway through, maybe a little bit shy of halfway. And the audiobook says I've got another 8 hours on it. I'm listening to it at close to 2 times speed. So I should be able to finish that one up later today or tonight. I'm going to go ahead, since I've got some time without anything going on, to jump into Witch Hat Atelier. Oh, I've also got my my shirt on, anticipating later tonight. So, but yeah, I'm going to jump into Witch Hat Atelier, and I've got 5 volumes of the like mainline manga, then another 3 of the offshoot. So I don't know, I might bounce back and forth between the two, or I might just read through the main line and then read through the cooking one. So I'll be back once I have another chunk of something read and give another update. We are at about the 15-hour mark. 15 hours and 43 minutes remaining. So about 8 hours have elapsed. I have read the 5 Witch Hat Atelier volumes that I've got. And I'm a little bit frustrated because even in all this is the conclusion of this arc is not until the next volume, which isn't out yet as far as I know. So yeah, but it's still really good. I don't want to say too much because I do think that I'm going to create a video just for Witch Hat once I finish up with the offshoot series and can talk about it. But it's really good. I'm glad I picked this one up, and I'm glad I continued reading it. Something that has so many great messages in it and so much great representation. It's actually kind of surprising from a Japanese writer that they're covering everything that they do. But again, I'll talk about that more in like a dedicated video. I believe all of these were 5 stars across the board, so 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I think I gave them all 5 stars. I'm going to take a little bit of break from Witch Hat and maybe look at a few of these one-offs that I've got. So I've got Blue Lock, I've got Chainsaw Man, I've got One Piece 106 to look at. So I think I'm going to take a few of those next before we go get dinner, and then continue afterwards. And then tonight I'll probably get back on the audiobook for Proven Guilty and see if I can wrap that up. It should only take me about 4 more hours to get through that, so we'll see. I did read through Blue Lock number 12 and Chainsaw Man 5. I gave them both 5 stars. I think I like Chainsaw Man a bit more than Blue Lock, but they were both excellent volumes, and so I couldn't drop either one down to a 4. This volume of Chainsaw Man got back into what I thought the previous volume would get into, brought back in the conflict that was building in volume number 3, and so that was really exciting to see. There was some good character development with like just like little things with Kobeni and with Power, and the overall action was very strong and a lot of fun. With Blue Lock, they were in a 5v5 match. They're forming a group to take on the Japanese U20 team, and if they can beat them, then they'll take their place. The same stuff that I expect from Blue Lock, with Isagi finding out some new bit of information, learning about his teammates, and then learning how best to exploit that using his power of observation. So a lot of fun with both of these, but it is 6 o'clock and I am hungry, so we're going to go get dinner, and then I'll jump back into One Piece and then probably go back to finish up the Witch Hat Atelier offshoot comic. Update time number 4 or so, I think. We're at about 9 hours remaining in the 24-hour challenge. I went out to dinner at McAllister's. I have my lemon blueberry cookie to eat still, and then we came back and took a little rest, and then got back onto reading. While we were in the car, we were reading what's the audiobook? Eric LaRocca's This Skin Was Once Mine. We're only about 2 chapters into the first story, So we might listen to that for a little bit, because I think the first story only takes about 2 hours to get through. I read through One Piece and then 2 issues of Akane-Banashi. So I got through these. One Piece, as always, great. I'm really enjoying the setting for Egghead Island. A lot of build-up in this volume. This is 106. And the next one doesn't come out until November, so it's going to be a while before, you know, I get current with what's happening. Like I said, a lot of setup in this one, a lot of like forces moving and converging on the island. So we're going to hopefully get some payoff with that soon. A little bit of combat, but this was mostly like lore focused. Dr. Vegapunk and how he works and his information about the Void Century. So we're really, it seems like we're really teasing and getting toward answers for those really big questions in One Piece. So that was very exciting. Gave it 5 stars because of course it's One Piece. And then 5 stars for both of the Akane-Banashi volumes as well. He's introduced Urara, who I really enjoyed. She's kind of a mentor figure for Akane, but also kind of this like power player, and they do a lot of metaphors with like chess playing, and like she'll train Akane, she'll teach her a story, but only if she proves useful. And this kind of wrapped up the story that had been started in the last one, and kind of introduced this idea of this next competition that Akane wanted to be part of, this summer tournament where whoever wins the tournament gets the opportunity to be the 4th person in this really elite performance of the up-and-coming stars. So of course Akane wants to get in on that. I don't know if this one said when the next volume was going to be out. These don't, yeah, I don't think these have like teasers for the next volume. They just kind of end and then don't tell you when the next one's going to come out, which I find really odd because they're both Shonen Jump, and so you would think they would all have similar style teasers at the end, but no idea when the next one's going to be out. But I'm loving that series so far. It makes me real tempted that next time I go to Japan, whenever that is, to like see a performance, even though I wouldn't understand anything about it. I'd at least get a sense of like the vibe. We'll go back to the audiobook for a bit, or I'll pick up the Witch Hat Atelier offshoot, and then once it gets late enough, I'm going to go back to the audiobook for Proven Guilty, because I'm not going to want to, I don't know if I'll have the focus to read at that point. So that's the plan right now. Still got another 9 hours. We'll see how it goes. Apologies for any noises in the background, but we are running laundry at the moment. So we are at about 4 hours and 45 minutes remaining. Got through the first short story in the Eric LaRocca collection. This Skin Was Once Mine. Thought it was decent, creepy toward the end, although I don't understand the purpose of the beginning. It kind of had a slow start. But not bad for a quick 2-hour story. Read through Witch Hat Atelier Kitchen 1, 2, and 3 as well. These I rated 4 stars for each. It's still really cute seeing the interaction with Quifrey and Olrugio and the 4 girls, but there's nothing beyond that really. Every chapter feels very similar. They're like, oh, look at this new crazy ingredient I found. Let's talk about how to prepare it. And they go into the details of like, I'll cut thin slices like this, and I'll arrange them in shapes like this, and I'll put it in the boiler, and I'll stack it like this. And very detailed directions on how to cook the meals. Everything they make is actually like real recipes. You have to substitute the fantasy animal meat and the fantasy ingredients for real ingredients, but they have a list in the back of what is supposed to replace what. And so yeah, you could go through and make these recipes, which sounds like fun, and some of them sounded really good. I'm also hungry. It's garbage day today, so I've got to go clean out the fridge. I'm gonna put Proven Guilty back on my audiobook. I think that's how I'll close out the 24-hour challenge, is to see if I can get through the end of that book. And then I gotta get something to eat, so I'll get some cereal or something like that, and just have some breakfast here. I might end up, once the sun comes out, I might end up going on a walk just to make sure that I don't fall asleep. So we'll see. And yeah, I'll be back with another check-in in a few hours. It's daylight. Got about 2 hours left. Gonna go on a walk while I can. Still listening to the audiobook. Just under 5 minutes left of our 24-hour challenge, and I just finished up Proven Guilty. It is the 8th Dresden Files book. I had previously rated it 4 out of 5, and I kept that same rating. This is another one that I've read 3 times at this point. And I was looking back at my previous ratings, and I do still feel like a lot of what I talked about in those previous ones is still true. So this one has a lot of good moments. Dresden ends up with an apprentice by the end of this, which shakes things up and changes the formula, changes the dynamic of some of the relationships pretty significantly. He mends a relationship that's been rocky for a very long time as well, and so there's a number of good developments in the story. However, I felt the pacing of the story was not so great. There's a moment maybe halfway through the book, I think it's almost exactly halfway through the book, where he confronts these 2 characters that seem like they're the big villain, and then they're revealed not to be. They're just like coincidentally there, and then he goes on and finds what the real conflict is, and that leads to a whole other thing. The end also just feels like it drags quite a bit because of those 2 things, and because this does deal with the Fae a lot, the fairies. There's a lot of like indirect conversations, and it makes it to where it's unclear why a lot of things happened in this book, and I'm sure like eventually they'll go back and say, oh, do you remember that time when you showed up and everybody was dead? That was this thing. Or do you remember when this happened? This often happens in these books, but ultimately, like I said, I ended up with 4 stars out of 5. I still really enjoy it. It's just not top tier for me. A recap of the day. We finished up and got caught up with Ultraman. So read 17 and 18 and 19. So we're caught up with that series. Caught up with Blue Lock. Caught up with One Piece. Read the next Chainsaw Man. Caught up with Witch Hat and Witch Hat Kitchen. So expect a video on those soon. Read through Dresden. Caught up on Akane-Banashi. The only ones I had set aside that we didn't get to were Rat Queens. So I didn't get to Rat Queens. I didn't get to this Beastars volume that I wanted to get to. I'm now 40-something books ahead of schedule on my Goodreads, and it was a good day. It was a rough day. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! The hardest bit to get through was late at night, around 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That's when I was just like laying on the couch, just looking up and listening to the audiobook. I'm glad I left the audiobook for later at night because I was reading very slowly. I could feel myself getting a little agitated reading Witch Hat Kitchen because I just felt like I was going so slow, and I could feel just like the crankiness of trying to read. So I'm glad I left the audiobook for the nighttime. Once the sun came up and I was able to get out and take a walk around, I went to the convenience store. I picked up a water and some chips. But just getting out of the house and like being out in the sun, being outside, even though it's still kind of miserable even first thing in the morning here, very humid outside, but even so, just being able to get out was rejuvenating, and that did help. And I was listening to the audiobook while that was going on as well. So yeah, it was just nice to be able to get some other stuff done while I was reading. Oh, I also forgot, in addition to the 17, we also read that first short story in the short story collection. So it's like we're like a third of the way through that. So we accomplished quite a bit today. Was it worth it? Much like trying to read the 365 books in a year, I don't think this is something that I would do very often, if at all, again. If I were to try this challenge again, I think I'd want to do how many just novels can I get through in a 24-hour period, because I was able to get through Proven Guilty with the audiobook, and I think had I just focused on books, I could have maybe done 2 or 3. I probably could have gotten through 3 full books in this span if that was like all I was doing. Might be a consideration for the future. Anyway, I'm very tired, and so I'll be going to bed at 8:30 in the morning and waking up and trying to get some more work done around the house. So thanks for tuning in for this experiment to see how many books we could read in 24 hours. I hope that your reading journey is going well. I'll link down in the description some other videos that have done the 24-hour challenge. Again, some I know did just like they would start and stop the time, and they would just see how much they could read in 24 collective hours. And then I know some just did, here's a day, I'm going to try to stay up as long as possible and just see how much I can get through in one day. So I'll link a few below so you can check those out. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, help us grow this corner of our BookTube community. And until the next one, take care.